Hi people and hello my Chili con Carnage crew, it's Chili here from Live Listen Erased, and I am doing a special ranking on Pearl Jam's songs. This time it's going to be the intro songs from every single one of the albums. We're talking about the first track of every single album that they have ever done. And that is because, why not? You know, it's a list, it's a weird way to rank the songs on hand. I thought it'd be an interesting take as well. You know, what would be different, I guess. And I've covered, you know, Pearl Jam's albums ranked from worst to best before, so just, you know, check out my channel if you're curious on that one. But I just thought, you know, what if I mix things up a little bit here? What if I decide instead I'm going to rank the songs and see what kind of difference I will have compared to how I rank the albums? Because the intro tracks for Pearl Jam, they're a mixed bag, let's admit it. There's a few weird ones, there's a few great ones, and then, you know, you're looking over them compared to the rest of the whole chronology of the artist, there's certainly other ways that they've done things. So I thought, yeah, well, whatever, you know, to celebrate Pearl Jam coming to Australia, let's just dive into Pearl Jam and listen to the first track of every single album, and then, well, to hell with it, rank it. So, let's get into this episode, and we'll talk about Pearl Jam's first songs from worst to best. To kick things off, we're going to go and start with Pearl Jam's No Code album with Sometimes. And this is a track to just, of course it's going to be the worst one, isn't it? It's such a bland and boring song at the end of the day, and there's reasons for it, you know. It's just so dull at listening. It goes through the motions, it does the singing, Eddie Vedder does his thing, learning guitar accompaniment and all that stuff. But it's so slow and casual almost. It's like listening to lounge music, I guess, if Eddie Vedder was singing it, which just seems like an odd thing to say out loud, but there it is out for the world to hear. So, yeah, at the end of the day, No Code, this album cover with 1,000 images on the front of it, just gets picked as the last one with Sometimes. And, you know, if I ever go through, when I'm re-listening to this album, I'm always skipping this track, that's for sure. You know, there are a lot of better tracks on hand, and Sometimes it's not the way that I wanted this record to kick it off. But here we are, I guess, at the bottom of the barrel. Going on to the next one, and I want to talk about Can't Keep, which is from the Riot Act album. And it's another song that just kind of casually goes through the motions, if you will. It's a weird collection of music almost to a degree. It's like the Pearl Jam were just trying something here, and I don't know quite what it was. And I think that this track, along with Sometimes from No Code, both of these songs suffer from the same problem. And that is that both of these songs are technically an intro for the follow-up pieces that would come up. You know, with Riot Act, of course, you had Save You. And, you know, this song, to me, at least Can't Keep, feels like the intro piece that leads into Save You. Except it's a 3.5 minute intro piece. We don't want to hear that at the end of the day. Although I do admit I like this one better than Sometimes. It seems to have this iridescent quality, I guess, of it. There's something about it I just prefer over Sometimes. Sometimes is very just blasé, very boring and stale. At least with Can't Keep, there's some kind of energy, just ebbing and weaving, but it just is such a miss. And again, jumping back to that intro thing that I was talking about with, you know, No Code, sometimes feels like it's the intro that rolls into Hail Hail. So I just have to kind of wonder at the end of the day, were these meant to be the intro jam pieces that we would hear on earlier pieces, you know, but they just separated it into another track on the CD version? If so, I really wish they didn't do that. I wish they just shortened it, kept it to a little 30-second snippet at the end of it, and just put it in there at the beginning. But anyway, these ones are ranking at the bottom for many, many reasons, and those are them. Up next, we're going to have Whoever Said from the Gigaton album. This is a song that is not exactly flamboyant. It's not too bad. You know, it's got some energy within, at least, compared to the previous two songs, but it's just a song that just seems to teeter on the forever version. It goes for over 5 minutes, which is the longest as well, the longest first track that we've ever received out of all the songs that we're going to have on this list. And Gigaton is just an album I hate. It is my least favourite record by the band, so really anything that I hear from this album is usually at the bottom of the list anyway, for very obvious reasons. So yeah, look, I don't like the song. It just drags on for way too long, and for an intro piece or a first track, this track should have been pushed back 3 or 4 songs. At the end of the day, I just think there's so much wrong with this album in general, but I don't know. Gigaton is such a bad record. I hated it. Anyway, sorry, but yeah, whoever said, somehow it just comes up a bit further on the list compared to the first two. And the following track we're going to have is going to be Getaway off the Lightning Bolt album. Again, this is not a bad song, it's just a bit bland, I guess, as far as intro pieces goes, or first tracks. I'm going to keep on calling it that throughout this runtime. And this is from, the album that was just not that good at the end of the day. This is, for me anyway, when I'm looking over the Pearl Jam albums of the time, this is the last album that really just, it seemed like the band had gone off a cliff, dove off a cliff completely, and this had started back with Backspacer. Backspacer, Lightning Bolt, both of these are pretty boring albums, and then of course Gigaton just comes rolling around. So yeah, Lightning Bolt, it sounds like the rest of the record to me, just this casual record song I should say, that just doesn't really do it for me. It's like, yeah, okay, what am I listening to? Yeah, okay, it's Lightning Bolt. Yeah, I might go for a drink now. If I heard this live, I'd be walking away. Let me put it that way. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Do you like this song? Do you like this album? I don't. Anyway, that's why it's so low on my list, I guess, at the end of the day. This is my list after all. The next one that we're going to have up is Breakafall from the Binaural record. I think I mispronounced that. I know it's a weird word, that one, and I always mispronounce it. I always thought it was binaural. Someone's going to tell me in the comments section below I absolutely butchered that pronunciation, and it's meant to be pronounced this way. So anyway, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments section first of all. But Breakafall, this is where it starts getting into the more interesting territory. There's a bit of energy and jump to this piece at least. It's only 2 minutes and 20 seconds in length, and at least it keeps within its bounds. It's energetic, it's great. And I think around about this era of Pearl Jam, that's when we're starting to see the band's just writing a bit more shorter songs, in particular for the first half of the record, and we're starting to see in particular the intro pieces starting to be these high energy kind of things. And with Breakafall, I think we're starting to get to the bottom of that kind of quality as far as these pieces goes. But at the end of the day, look, it's not a bad song. I think it's actually a really good record, by the way. I like this album. I don't come back to it as often as I should, but I do like to come back to it from time to time. There's certainly a lot of songs that I really do enjoy. Sleight of Hand, I think it needs more plays, people. You need to listen to that song more often. It's really great. Great experimentation. But Breakafall, we're talking about that song, and yeah, Breakafall, I love it. It's a good piece. We're starting to pick up here. Everything from here on out is good Pearl Jam. All right. Up next, we're going to have Gonna See My Friend from the Backspacer album. This is when it gets a bit loud and bombastic, and you know what? I completely forgot about this track. When I was going through and making this list, and I was listening to this piece, I'm going, damn, this is a really good track. Is Backspacer something that I've written off a bit early? No, because I've gone back and listened to the rest of the album since. But, Gonna See My Friend, I think that was one of the singles. It might have been the first single from this record. And, it's a good single to pick. Admittedly, while I don't enjoy this album, I must admit the singles were solid, unlike Lightning Bolt. And Backspacer just showed that with Gonna See My Friend. Great, flamboyant, high-energy piece. Despite the musicians being in whatever their age it was, 40 years at the time, we're talking around that time, I think, they're still showing off that they've got power to their music and passion and all the rest. So I really did enjoy Gonna See My Friend, and, it's a fantastic piece. Just not as good as what comes after. Life Wasted, that is from the Avocado album. Seriously, what were the band thinking when they just took a photo of an avocado at a blue background? I don't even know what to think about it. What I think, though, about Life Wasted, this single would have actually been a lot higher. But the thing is, I've heard Life Wasted so many times on Triple M's radio that it kind of does my head in. Every time I start this album off, I've kind of got to skip it. It's a great track. I love Life Wasted, and I think Avocado is a great album, or whatever you want to call this record, is a great album. But You know, Life Wasted is a track that I heard to death back in the day, and I kind of am at the point that I never want to listen to it again. Almost. But I still love this track, you know? So it's you know, give it another year or two. Maybe this would be ranked much lower. I don't know. It's just getting to that point. It's almost teetering there, people. And, you know, that's almost a bit of a bad sign, I guess. But still, Life Wasted, fantastic way to kick off this record. Love it. I think it's a fantastic album. Maybe this will be a surprise to the listeners out there, but Last Exit on the Vitalogy album is the next pick that I have. This is going to be, I guess, the last of those small instrumental jams that they would do for the first 3 albums, you know, and it's got that little piece going, kick-started off, but then, you know, just the drums kick in. Bang, bang, dun, 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 the guitar's kicking in as well, and you know you're in for the Pearl Jam experience. You know, it's a fantastic way to just start off an album that is just mint. It's great. It's a great record. And fantastic way to also lead into the following track, Spin the Black Circle. This highly aggressive piece as well, compared to what we're listening to with Last Exit. So, yeah, I really enjoyed Last Exit as a piece. I think it's a great song. Great way to kick off Vitalogy, and a fantastic one. That's why it's so high on my list anyway. But there are others that are much higher. As for much higher, I think I could sing a lot of praise for this album, Dark Matter and Scared of Fear. You know, this was the return to form that I hoped Pearl Jam would do in regards to their record, and luckily it came this way. Fantastic to see Pearl Jam back this year in regards to Dark Matter in this album, because I had no hope for it, to be honest. And then hearing this thing kick off, just this small little instrumental piece. Well, I wouldn't even call it an instrumental piece. It's more there's something going on there at the beginning, and then it just kicks into the guitars, and I go, oh, that's kind of a callback to old Pearl Jam. And then, oh, this song itself is good. It's fantastic even. And I just love the whole tune. It just kind of sets you up for the ride of this record. I think it's just a great way to kickstart this album. You know, Scared of Fear just shows off Pearl Jam doing what they do best, and that's just rocking your ass. You know, it's a great way. It wouldn't surprise me if this is the first song they kick off with on the tour. Let me know below if you're watching this after you've seen them, if they did open with this one. But yeah, Scared of Fear, everyone, at the 4th place. So yeah, I think it's a really solid tune, and Dark Matter is a really good album. So yeah. Oh, I think this next one's going to kill some people, but Once from the 10 album. This is a great tune. It's a fantastic album, the best one Pearl Jam ever did. But, you know, at the end of the day, there were some songs that I thought were better. And that intro is so iconic, of course. That fantastic warbled bass line, if you will, just leading into it. And yeah, look, what can you say about Once that probably hasn't been said a million times before? It is the intro that is so perfect for the album 10, the one that just kickstarted off that whole grunge era of Pearl Jam, that just launched them into the stratosphere. And I think that's perfect for it. And Once is such a highly iconic track as well by Pearl Jam, one of the most, you know, iconic tunes of their catalogue. But then again, there were better tunes off the album 10 anyway. It's not the most highly listened to tune off this record. Even Flow, of course, gets bigger plays, Alive as well. But Once, I swear that one gets played one of the most because it's the first piece on the album. But yeah, look, Once, great tune, absolutely amazing tune. There is nothing wrong with it. In my personal preference, though, it just is at 3rd place because I think the next 2 songs are better. So, yeah, you can already guess where I'm going with this next one, though. I swear a lot of people are going to be even more pissed off that Brain of J made 2nd spot from Yield. But what can I say? I think Yield is a highly underrated album that I love. And I think Yield is such a fantastic road album as well. It's one of those albums you want to put on when you're just going for a drive. I mean, look at that album cover. It just personifies what this album is about. And Brain of J is just that perfect energy. You know, Pearl Jam's just launching into it, going in guns blazing, and I think it's just a fantastic kickstart. You know, it's perfect. It's really fantastic. I love when I jump into Yield. Every time I love I just love it. Every time I jump into Yield and I listen to Brain of J, I'm just, yes. You know, it gets me flowing. It gets me so excited to listen to this record. Of course, a bit of it just fails a bit, but regardless, you know, it is still a great record to listen to, with Given to Fly and a few of the other ones, in particular Do the Evolution. But yeah, Brain of J is just this kick-ass rock tune that is perfect for the record. I don't know what else I can add to it. It's second spot because I love it so much. I know you're all going to hate that, but hey, it's perfect 3 minutes for me. And that can only leave Go from Versus to be the best track that is the intro track for any Pearl Jam albums. Now, Versus, I know a lot of people would probably say that that is their favourite album by Pearl Jam, and for good reason. There's some fantastic tunes on there. But, you know, Go is just this absolutely balls to the wall, fantastic little piece. It's got that bass intro again that follows on from 10. You know, a little jam piece that starts it off, and then we just get into it, you know. Yeah, drums kicking into pace, that bass line is ferocious, and Eddie's just coming into it, you know, and it's such an amazing, it is great, fantastic album. I remember the first time I saw this album cover, and I'm thinking to myself, what is going on here? What's a sheep doing here looking through a fence? And then Go hit me. It was mint. It's this great way when you're jumping back into the record, you know, and if you're going to go back and listen to Versus, you got to listen to the whole album. Don't jump between the songs. Don't pick out your favourite tracks. Of course, everyone loves to hear Daughter or Elderly Woman Behind a Counter, but come on, man. If you're going to go listen to this albums, you got to go from start to finish. And Go is that perfect way to just start thing off with that screaming guitar solo towards the end of the, you know, middle of the song. That bass line that just hooks you. The drum beat that's high energy. Eddie Vedder's vocal deliveries. Everything just combines together to make it shows off why Pearl Jam was bigger than Nirvana at this time. It's perfect. It just is such a great tune. So, yeah, that's why it ends up being number one. So that concludes my quirky little list in regards to, I guess, Pearl Jam's best first tracks from these albums. You know, I would love to hear your thoughts in regards to it. Do you think that Go is the best song that they have ever written as far as their first tracks go? Or do you think there was something better that you would like to recommend instead? Tell me in the comment section below, because I'm always going to read those things, and I love arguing with you in particular. Everyone seems to think I'm wrong. I'm not. I'm always right. But still, I'm joking. You know, music is an opinion. What can we say? We all loved this band. I just thought this would be a funny little list to do. Hey, maybe it'll make you think and just think about the, you know, albums in a different way, I guess. Anyway, you have a great day out there, and do the spicy thing, of course. If you've enjoyed this content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to us, and stay notified for future music related content, because it keeps our manager happy at the end of the day. We are also on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and all those other social platforms if you want to check us out. As always, people, you have a great day and stay spicy.